Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is David Hanlon, aka the Laptop Legend, and this was probably the craziest day we've had in the stock market in the last couple of months, honestly. And I've just got some absolutely insane charts to show you guys. I don't even know what to say, man. Huge shout out to some of the guys in our Discord. Jazzy, you absolutely killed that trade today. I gotta go into it because this man top ticked a multi-1,000% gainer Supernova. Literally sold at the exact top to the cent. Absolutely insane. Also big shout out to my man Tyler in the Discord who made like 12 grand with a crazy trade on the same ticker. So gotta dive into that. I made 3 grand overnighting OZSC, which was an epic trade, so I gotta go into that. And there's just a lot of stocks moving today, guys. So I just want to do some analyses on some of these charts so you guys can be better prepared in the future for when they happen, because man, there's a lot of opportunity in charts like this. So without further ado, let's dive into my computer. Please like this video, subscribe if you haven't already. You know the drill. All right, let's do it. All right, guys, so this is the chart of the day, stock of the day, whatever you want to call it, ORPH. This thing was our Supernova, and it's been a while since we've had a great Supernova. So some of you guys who are really new to the stock market might not have experienced something like this ever. So I want to talk about why it's so important to study the past, because it allows you to know what to expect from the future. So if you want to see what Supernova charts like this look like, I actually already did a video. If you just look up the Laptop Legend Supernova in YouTube, you'll see the lessons from the biggest Supernovas. And there's a few that I can go into right here. You can see there's actually a list. This is just from I think the past year after like when I was making this video. But there were a lot of really good ones, and they all pretty much have one thing in common. They end up, you know, squeezing, making higher highs, higher lows, and then eventually they go full Supernova, which means they go straight up, and then they go into a down halt. And these down halts tend to last a long time, and when they finally unhalt, the stock normally reopens a good deal lower, you know, like over 50% lower, you know, sometimes 70% lower from the actual top. So you got to be really careful on these things. And if you don't get in early, you can't chase, because you never know where the top is going to be. And even if you buy in here, you know, say at 100 on this chart, if you don't sell up here and you somehow don't get filled, because it's really tough to, you're going to be selling down here, which would still be a huge loss even when you were up huge on your positions. You got to be so careful. And that's part of what makes this trade so absolutely insane. So here we are in the Legendary Profits thread of the Laptop Legend Discord, and we got two here. Here's Tyler, and he made $12,000. This man bought 5,000 shares of ORPH, and I think he bought it down, I might have to zoom in, man. I think he bought it down here at like 9 or something like this. He held it through this up halt, and he sold it up here at like 12, like maybe 980s, and he sold it at like 12 or something like that in the 12s. Absolutely great trade. Congrats to Tyler. And then the trade of the day, guys. This is just so insane. So Jazzy right here, I did the math on this. You can see he made $17,000, but based on his cost basis for 250 shares, he bought these at $6.25. So he bought his shares right here, literally right here, right there. And I got to zoom out. Now you can't even see it. He bought them right there, and he literally top ticked it. He sold it right there at 77.77, literally to the cent. I mean, it's just so insane. Like, you can barely even see it. He bought here and sold here. I mean, that is so crazy, man. Congrats to him. Again, making almost $18,000 profit on a $1,500 investment. That is so insane. So cool. And I guess the biggest takeaway that I want to tell you guys again is, like, you got to be really careful on the front side of these moves. So there's a lot of opportunity, but if you don't get in early, you really can't be chasing, because these moves, you know, if you're buying here at 40 and you can't sell, then you're still selling at a loss. That's what's crazy about this. You know, you buy at 40, it goes to 80, but you still sell at a loss because you can't get out on some of these things. So if you guys don't know why it halts like this, well, these are when really low float stocks. And I guess let me back up a step even further. What is a low float stock? Well, a low float stock has very few shares available to trade, which means that when there's a lot of volume for whatever reason, they go up really fast and then they immediately halt. And you can see that, you know, I guess you can't see it super well here, but every single time it went up, there was like a 5-minute halt, a 10-minute halt, whatever. So it would go up, be open for like 10 seconds, the trading would be open for 10 seconds, and then it would re-halt. So if you don't time it perfectly, like it can be very difficult to get out of these things, especially if you have large size. So you can't take large size on these things. But even with small size, you guys can see 250 shares make that much money. You know, almost 18,000 profit. So pretty crazy. But the thing to do on these plays is to use limit orders so that you can either buy or sell when the stock opens. Because if you wait, it's too late. So like this thing, I think Jazzy, we convinced him to put in a limit sell, and he put in a limit sell for like 64 after this up halt here. So the stock was halted, it wasn't trading, he put in the sell, and because of that, as soon as it opened at 77.77, he sold. You know, he instantly got filled, and he didn't have to worry about waiting for it to open and then trying to sell after it just immediately tanked and went into a down halt. So that's the thing you guys got to realize. And then typically speaking, from what I've seen on these charts in the past, what they'll usually do is they will run up, and then they will see a huge dump, and then they'll normally see a pretty nice bounce. They will normally see a pretty nice bounce. And I actually longed this stock right here at 23 with 125 shares. So I longed it right there after the dump, and after this halt down, I started putting orders in kind of right in this area, you know, all the way up in here, because I wasn't sure where it was going to open. I figured it was going to open under 30, but I wasn't sure exactly where. And I started putting my buy orders there, thinking it would see a nice bounce up to, you know, 35, 40. And it actually did not, which is pretty crazy. And I think the main reason for that is, now that I'm thinking about it, is the fact that this stock, in comparison with a lot of other supernovas, had pretty low volume overall on the day. Like most of these supernovas from the past have like millions, like tens of millions, hundreds of millions of shares traded on the day. And this one really did not have that many. So I'm not sure where I can see it there. Yeah, so the shares traded on the day for this was only 7.8 million. And for a supernova, that's really nothing at all. And the only other example I would say of a stock that went supernova but only had, you know, a very few amount of shares traded would probably be WNW. If I can pull that up and see the date, let's go back, see if I can get that list right here. Yeah, so WNW on December 16th. Let me go to that chart real quick. So you go to on demand. You go to WNW December 16th. Let's go 17th just so we can see it. Yeah, so you guys can see there's like very low volume on this, but even on this one, I guess it still saw a really big bounce off of that gap down. So it's kind of weird, honestly. I'm not sure why this one didn't really bounce that much. Maybe not enough shorts were trapped. I'm not sure, but this is another one of those pretty crazy, insane moves with multiple upsides, multiple upside halts, and then eventually there's one downside halt, and then you know, it's a little bit longer, and then when it finally reopens, you guys can see it halted from 917 all the way to 957. So that's a 40-minute halt. And when it reopens, it opens down at least 50% normally. So that's how you normally play these. And normally what you look to do is, if you can get short on the first red candle after it's up a ton, that's when you want to get short if you can get shares. I couldn't get shares on this particular stock, ORPH, but you want to get short there because there's a really good chance you can make at least 50% on your money. And then after that, typically you want to buy that dip because it normally bounces pretty nice off of that. And then after that, you normally want to short. So there's like a ton of plays from this. Even if you miss buying it down here, you can short it right here and then rebuy it here and then re-short it here. So there's normally a ton of plays on these supernovas, and like a lot of these charts look very similar. So like Elfin, you can see is also a very similar chart. You know, it goes full supernova, and then it comes crashing back down, has a nice bounce. You can short on the bounce, and then, you know, another nice dip buy. So like a ton of volatility afterwards. So it's pretty surprising to see that this one didn't have any. So I'm wondering what's going to happen tomorrow. I am actually stuck overnight. And the reason for that is, for whatever reason, Schwab decided that they can have tickers where they don't let you sell. I don't know why that is a thing, but I cannot trade ORPH in after hours. They just decided it's a ticker you cannot trade in after hours. So no matter what this ticker does, I cannot sell until market open tomorrow. So I may take a nice $1,000 loss on this tomorrow, which would really stink. But it is what it is. It's more a learning experience for me because I just want to learn how to really nail these supernovas when they happen. But yeah, guys, definitely go watch this video. I show a lot of examples here. RHE, ACY, some of these that happen together. There's just a bunch, man. There's so many good examples, and if you study the past, you can learn to really nail these charts when they happen. And I guess that's kind of the main takeaway from today. So again, big shout out to Jazzy and Tyler for an epic trade on ORPH. And I guess let me dive into a few other stocks that I traded today. So I traded CLOV today. I had a nice dip buy on this one right around in this area, I think 1480s, and I sold over 15 somewhere in there. I forget exactly where I got it. Maybe like right in this area, and I sold like up here, something like that. Not an incredible trade, but a pretty nice trade. I'm proud of myself and my patience for this one. Again, still learning these listed stocks. And then a lot of OTCs today, guys. So OZSC had a nice gap up, nice spike right at open, and I sold most of my shares like up in this area, 10.5s. I think I sold a little 10 here, and then I may have tried to dip buy, but then I ended up shorting when it broke down under 10, etc. So pretty nice trade there overall. RGBP, guys, this one came back. I'm really mad because I was going to swing this one. I just didn't want to buy it on the ask at 13 because I was trying to get it closer to 12. So I never actually got shares, and now it's running really hard. Again, this is a former Supernova. You guys can see I knew a day like this was coming. I'm just frustrated myself that I didn't buy it sooner. That's what I'm frustrated on. I left a lot of money on the table here, guys. I should have made. I should have had 1 million shares from like 13, honestly. That would be ideal. So that's a big bummer, but definitely watching this for day trade tomorrow. ICBU, this is another one, guys. I think this one could potentially see a nice big run up here. Apparently they're supposed to be going current pretty soon. They had that news pop out today, so I actually longed a decent amount of these shares. I think I have 300,000 right now. If I get another dip down here, I'll probably try to add some more. So that's a swing for me right now. Let's see, what are some other good ones? Yeah, so GOFF, this was that George Sharp play, the custodianship from yesterday, and it had some really, really nice continuation today. Absolutely ripped through those levels. I didn't even think about looking at that resistance level, honestly. That's pretty crazy. But it had a nice breakout of those levels, guys. And no shares to short at this point. And I'm not sure if there's still going to be a long opportunity. Maybe a nice dip buy on this. That would probably be the best bet if I had to guess. Let's see what else. GGII had a little bit of news, nothing too crazy. Yeah, I mean, nothing too crazy overall. There was one chart that I wanted to check on for you. Let me pull it up real quick. Yeah, so this is probably the most insane OTC chart I have ever seen. So this stock, I guess it closed at like 24 cents. It dipped as low as 8 cents. And then after that, it ran as high as 48 cents. So the range on this thing is insane. Even 10,000 shares, you're making so much money. So this thing, honestly, it's the craziest chart that I've ever seen. I mean, look at that candle, bro. I don't understand that. I really don't. So that's a crazy chart. I wish I could have traded it. I saw it around, where did I see it originally? I saw it originally around this area, maybe around like right here. And I thought it was chasing to buy right here because, like, I mean, if you zoom in, it's already a nice bounce off that dip. I didn't know that it was going to go back above there and just absolutely keep ripping. So pretty sad that I missed out on that one, but just another cool chart for you guys. Let's see what else. Actually, I want to show you guys a failed trade today. I was actually swinging some AABB, and I took like an $800 loss on it today because I wanted to long it from right in this area, risking the 15.9 cent breakdown area because this had held as support for a long time. Kind of this area right here, and I longed some shares up here and then added a little bit here, but it ended up breaking down, so I had to cut, and I cut and I shorted and I covered also. I covered right here, and then I guess it came back up towards the end, so that one I ended up cutting. There's a lot of custodianship plays overall, like these mergers and stuff, that I'm just loading up on shares, guys. Once I get enough of the shares, my full position that I want, I'll definitely let you guys know what I'm swinging, because I got some really interesting plays, guys. Some ones I think can go pretty insane. Some of them already up like a couple thousand unrealized on, and hopefully they come back down to 0 unrealized so I can add some more, or maybe even negative because I want to add at a better price. So pretty crazy plays. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, there's a lot of sympathy plays overall, guys, I mean, just crazy. AVVH, I guess this is another one. I think there's like custodianship plays. Guys, I bought this at the perfect price, man. I mean, literally the perfect price. If I go down, where'd I get in this at? AVVH, guys, I bought this at 604. I bought this at 604, guys. Literally right as soon as the tweet came out, they tweeted about some, I don't know, I guess some merger announcements happen next week. So I bought it right here at 604, and I sold it all like by right here. Really stinks. I ended up shorting some here, covering down here, rebuying, and then re-shorting up. My goodness, I can't do this. Rebuying and then re-shorting up here, covering some down here. So I mean, there's a lot of volatility on this, but there's definitely so much room to run. So I think it breaks out over this eventually, but I'd like to get a better entry, so I'm not going to buy it here. Hopefully people forget about it for a couple days and it comes back down. So that's kind of my plan on that one. And man, I think that's pretty much it. I guess HTZGQ, HTZGQ. Yeah, this one was annoying today. It had some news, but it wasn't on my watch list, and it spiked up. You can see where the news came in, obviously by where the volume is. And I literally 1 cent away from top tick this, guys. I accidentally bought, it was on a pending cancel. That's why I say accidentally. I accidentally bought 1,000 shares at 707, and I ended up selling them for like a $200 loss or something like that down here at like 687 or something like that. Really stinks. I ended up making most of it back because I got like 3,000 shares from around here, like maybe 660, what, 662? Why can't I click? It's not letting me click. Yeah, somewhere around there. I ended up selling most of them by 672 though, which stinks. I didn't think it was going to bounce that high. And then I took some short and I ended up covering here. So that was a nice trade. I think I had 5,000 short. No. Did I have 5,000 short? Maybe 3,000 short from like 694, somewhere in there. So pretty nice trade there, and did end up fading off towards the end of the day. So pretty proud of that one. But yeah, ultimately, guys, my main concern tomorrow is just getting out of ORPH. Hopefully it gives me a nice little squeeze and can get back above, you know, the 30 area or something. I'm not too excited for it. I don't really think it does, but I guess we'll see. You know, it could do anything. So at this point, I'm willing to cut it for a loss if I need to. It's more just about the play, because overall the odds on these things are that they're going to see a really nice bounce. So it's worth it to me to take that type of risk. If I go look at some of the other ones, like look, GLSI, this is kind of what I figured it would be similar to. So this one ran from $5, went as high as 158, and this one had definitely a lot more volume. But you can see, I mean, look at that, guys. Look at that. It reopened here and then reopened all the way down there and just bounced and continued to bounce in after hours. And I mean, it reopened, what, in like the mid 40s and bounced as high as like 90. So I mean, it bounced like 100%. So to see no type of bounce whatsoever out of this stock is pretty freaking weird. Another example that's actually not in this video is Kodak, KODK. And I mean, this was another one that saw a really, really nice bounce off of this move, guys. Another really nice bounce. So it's just weird that this one would not bounce. I guess that's the main takeaway. But overall, pretty exciting day. Again, big shout out to those guys in Discord. Absolutely incredible trades to top tick a Supernova. It honestly was exciting just to witness. So hopefully you guys learned a lot today from these markets, and let's just be better prepared for next time, guys. So I'll see you in the next video. Until then, you know the drill. Let's grow better together. Preguntar, bebé, dime por qué te mientes. No puedes esconder todo lo que tú por mí sientes.